I'm just looking around your room and I'm a bit confused. What is that Lego set behind you?
What? Oh, that's the TARDIS.
The what?
The TARDIS.
What is a TARDIS?
What? You've never seen a TARDIS before?
That sounds familiar, that quote. Who said it?
Mrs. Flood?
And who's Mrs. Flood?
I don't know, we're gonna find out today.
Sounds like a plan. Roll the intro. Hello and welcome back to Who's There, a Doctor Who podcast. My name is Troy, his name is Crispy, and we are the hotline that accepts your calls throughout all of time and space. And this one, you're really going to have to help me out on at the very least, because my brain's kind of stumped, Crispy. I don't know about you, but there's a hot theory that is swarming the Doctor Who community at the minute, or should I say a hot discussion. There are many theories, and we don't know the correct answer, because there is a character in the new era of Russell T Davies' Doctor Who, and we don't know who she is, beyond the fact that she's called Mrs. Flood. And also that her real-life actress, Anita Dobson, is married to one of the guys at Queen. I mean, she mentioned that
which is
in the proms,
awesome.
Which is quite funny. But, yeah, that we don't know who she is. She turned up in costume, as in the character at the proms. Still don't know who Mrs. Flood is. She keeps showing up.
You've seen her in real life in costume. That's pretty cool.
She waved at me. It was lovely. But that's not the point, Crispy. The point is we have a mystery to solve. A mystery.
Oh. A mystery, you say?
A code to crack.
Wow.
A conundrum to tackle. A puzzle to peruse. We need to do some alliteration.
A flood to finesse.
Find out about.
Find out about. Yeah, that's better.
How you doing, sir?
Oh, mate, I am exhausted. You won't believe what I've done today. You actually wouldn't believe what's happened.
Share it with the group. What have you done today?
I probably shouldn't be teasing. This is probably very confidential, but I currently work for a very fun trivia company, and they are developing a new game that's going in their trivia, and it involves Roombas. You know, those like the self-vacuuming type things. You know, Roombas. And people know Roombas. Do you know what a Roomba is?
I know a Roomba is a dance in Strictly Come Dancing.
You don't know what a Roomba is? Do you know those like vacuum cleaners that are like little robots? What do you call those?
Oh, maybe it is a Roomba and I just don't know. I know what you're talking about.
Oh, well, anyway, I'm working on a thing called... I won't say the name of it, but...
Yeah, definitely don't get yourself arrested, lad, or fired.
No, it's pretty fun. We're just working on a... Well, I've made a Roomba, and we've attached a pointy blade to it, and it goes around and pops balloons. And so that's what I did today. How are you?
What are the health and safety concerns like on that? Because that's my first thought.
That's fine. We've signed all the waivers. We're all good.
All right, okay. All right. I'd rather you don't die. I don't want to have to carry this podcast on my own.
Well, if I do get, injured, hopefully I'll regenerate into Josh Snares or something.
Is that how it works?
I'm pretty sure that's how... In Australia, that's how it works. If you die, you
regenerate into fellow Doctor Who creators, but only exclusively from Australia.
Exclusively from Australia, correct.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah. But anyway, that's
Mrs. Flood.
What's new with
you? I'm not bad, man. I'm not bad. I've just woken up and we've got fun times because we might have the return of a favourite bit, because I know that Mum said that apparently a parcel's being delivered this morning, so there's going to be a doorbell. There's going to be a doorbell.
Oh.
And we are doing a double recording, so if it doesn't appear this episode, it will probably appear next episode. So there's a bit of tension for you. We don't even know if it's going to be in this episode. It might be a week away for you lot. We don't know.
Well, Troy, if I am not mistaken, there might be another bell that tolls this episode.
What bell?
If I can find it. Hold on. I don't know if I made this up or if it was a dream or...
It was all a dream.
Oh gosh. It's not a dream. Here we go. Troy, before we get started and taking callers about Mrs. Flood, I think it's very important that we do this old thing.
It's poll time?
Yeah. Troy, you put up a poll and we never answered the question.
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
That's true. It's going to be even funnier because this is coming out like 2 weeks after we're having this conversation. So for everyone else, it's even worse. Okay, yes, we did. That is very true.
Please, tell us what's happening, Troy.
It was a battle of the mid, you might say. We asked people which episode they preferred out of two hotly debated, not liked so much episodes, and we have results. 282 votes on YouTube. It's only been 3 days at the time we're recording this, so our scheduling is just out of whack, clearly.
Very much.
But out of 282 votes, we asked you which of the episodes do you prefer out of Legend of the Sea Devils and Space Babies. Crispy, what do you think the outcome is?
I'm going to guess that Legend 99%. Because it's just like a GOAT episode.
No. Again, you're part of this. You see, it's just a reflection that the inner Doctor Who community has different feelings than the wider audience. It's just proven here. Space Babies pulled 76% of the votes.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What?
76%.
I'm going to push the button, and it's going to be the dislike button on that.
There are dislike buttons on polls. Go on, do it. I'm going to refresh the page and see if it goes to 11 likes. Go on, do it. I dare you.
I've done it. I don't think I liked the original post, so...
No, it just says 12.
Anything would... Yeah. I don't think anything would change.
That's
but I've disliked it. I have disliked it now.
Wow. Well, you're very mean. So there's your results. A couple of comments. Legend of the Sea Devils feels unfinished. Space Babies was good fun. Legend of the Sea Devils was the opposite of fun. Oh dear. Space Babies is watchable. Legend was a train wreck from start to finish. Sheesh, okay. Pirate Dan for the win. Yeah, Pirate Dan for the win. I agree with that.
Yeah, Pirate Dan for the win.
Or probably your attitude. Chris has said, if I don't see either episode again in my life, I wouldn't be bothered. Someone else said I've abstained. What if I don't like either of the episodes? It really was Battle of the Mid on our YouTube poll. So thank you for voting. I don't suppose that Spotify did any better. Let's just have a quick peek.
Surely not.
I highly doubt it. I mean, we don't get many votes on Spotify.
I wouldn't mind Space Babies winning on Spotify. That would make me happy if that's possible.
Space Babies to win? Don't you want the other one to win? Don't you want Legend to win?
The other one. Oh my gosh.
He's converting. He's converting.
My true self revealed.
I stand corrected. I'm so sorry, Spotify. We have 20 votes this time.
Space my goodness gracious me. Oh, all right. Come on. Let's move on.
In fairness, this is getting old. So it was more of a dead split, but
this is getting old now.
So, as I said, you guys are gonna have to carry us for today because my brain doesn't really. Well, actually, Crispy might have theories. I'm just speaking for myself here, but I don't really know for sure who Mrs. Flood is. I mean, I'm thinking obviously like Time Lord's the common theory, and that pertains mainly, Crispy, as we know, to the theory of her wearing previous Doctor Who companion costumes.
Yeah, weird. What's up with that? What is that? If that's not intentional, or if it's just like another let's generate content kind of move, then I'll be upset. But if it actually does have something to do, like if a purposefully trying to mess with the Doctor, perhaps. Then that's cool. That's great. But honestly, I don't know much about Mrs. Flood. Do you care about Mrs. Flood? I feel like the general consensus is like, yeah, cool.
I cared more during season 1. I care a little less since it didn't get answered, but I'm sure when it actually does come around to it in season 2, I will be very invested. Just in a minute,
do you think it will get answered in season 2?
Yes.
Yes.
We talked about this previously, but it's kind of like that 2-season order thing, right? Russell wrote 2 seasons. He got a 2-season order with Disney Plus, so we know there's going to be 2 seasons. And he kind of said that in the Empire of Death commentary, that some things were intentionally not tied up in season 1, so they could be explored in the next season. So if Mrs. Flood isn't revealed by the end of season 2, I would be stunned. I think she'll probably be the big bad of the last 2 episodes. That's my personal opinion, or be one of them.
Ooh. Interesting.
My hot take.
Very, very interesting.
Speaking of, if you actually don't know what we're talking about with the costume thing, in Legend of Ruby Sunday, and also technically Empire of Death, the outfit that Mrs. Flood is wearing is very similar to Clara's final outfit that she wears in Face the Raven, and also, by association, Hellbent. So the grey sweater over the white shirt that was, I think, unbuttoned at the top, whatever. It was same outfit. And then at the end of Empire of Death, she's wearing a big fluffy white coat, which you might think is her just doing Stay Another Day, the 17 music video. But more likely, Romana, one of the classic Doctor Who companions who was herself a Time Lord, at one point wore the exact same white fluffy hooded coat.
What on earth is going on?
Yeah. See, I don't have to watch Classic Who to know references to Classic Who. It's just the spread of my knowledge, sir.
You shouldn't say that. If I become Josh Nares, that's what I'm saying.
You're not Josh Nares right now, so I can get away with it.
One day, perhaps. All right, yeah. So my prediction is that Mrs. Flood is Ruby's mum. So let's have
What?
a look. No, I'm kidding. You remember that was like a big theory?
We're not going over that again. She pointed at the sign with an umbrella and she said, "I am named Mrs. Flood," and she was pointing at Flood Avenue.
Yeah, exactly.
What a terrible idea.
We got some callers. Like, we had the floodgates have opened, if you will.
Oh,
and
come on.
There we go. And we've got a lot of callers. Troy, do you see these beautiful names on your screen?
I see a lot of names on my screen.
Is there anyone in particular you'd like to listen to?
I'm just, honestly, I mean, I'm not about
to
to like expose anyone's email addresses, but there are some very interesting email addresses here. Just reading through and seeing these.
This one is beep.
Let's go with. I don't know.
We've got so many good ones, man. Just pick one.
So many. There's a lot of scrolling. I can't. I don't. My brain can't take it.
Do you want me to stop? I'll stop. Here's your selection.
Yeah, I'll kill you. I won't kill you. Torchwood 5. Let's go on brand. What's Torchwood 5 say about Mrs. Flood?
Hello, Torchwood 5.
Hi there, this is Torchwood 5 from Poland, and I wanted to say that I think that perhaps Mrs. Flood is the woman from The End of Time Part 2, which may or may not be the Doctor's mother, or I guess at this point the person who left him under that timeless child portal thing, something, whatever.
Oh.
Tecteun?
Tecteun.
But she dead. Is she not dead?
Well, hang on. Well, that's the thing. It's a timey-wimey show, and if you
make a
rearrange
good point.
all the letters in Tecteun, it does spell Mrs. Flood. So that is, like, very tangible. It's very tangible stuff right now.
I thought I was the one who just woken up.
Yeah, no, I'm going to sleep. So, here's the thing. We started out friends. That's the front door. Oh, my goodness.
Baseball,
I'll say
it's
my
the
theory.
doorbell. Ding, ding, ding.
I'll say
Carry
my
it, Crispy.
theory. I will. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the Crispy Hour of Power. It's just me, your solo host. The theory thrown to us just then was that Tecteun is, in fact, Mrs. Flood, or the lady at the End of Time Part 2, or just the End of Time in general, who was wildly rumoured, and even Russell T Davies wrote it in his book, that, yeah, it's probably the Doctor's mum. I feel like I'm actually not quite sure if Mrs. Flood and the Doctor have interacted in season 1 yet. I'll have to ask Troy if that's happened, or you guys probably know that. I don't know that. That's sad. But if that's the case, I don't know. I feel like the Doctor would know, right? If they had met, they'd be like, "Oh, surely you're my mum. You're the person that raised me." But I don't know. Predictability of that happening, I'm going to say it's a solid 4 out of 10 for me, that theory. I think it has some legs, but not enough to have me convinced. Thank you very much, Torchwood 5. I hope Troy comes back, because I can't carry this show on my own. He is back. Let's give him some music to rap to. Hello, Troy.
What have I missed, sir?
I'm wondering, have Mrs. Flood and Shooty interacted yet?
Why is there music playing? What is happening?
Yeah.
What?
Mrs. Flood.
Mrs. Flood and Shooty have interacted, yes.
When
Children
did
Ruby
they
Road.
interact?
In the Christmas special. This is too much auditory stimulation. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, they had the conversation where she said, "You look like you've lost a penny and lost a sixpence and found a penny," or whatever the figure of speech was, and he was like, "Maybe I'm the problem."
Interesting, because I was just wondering, because Torchwood 5 has said, about being potentially the Doctor's mum, Tecteun, or whatever. I theorized that the Doctor might know or have some kind of sense that this is someone that is has great significance in their life. If they had, unless it's like a chameleon circuit type thing, but then she knew what a TARDIS was. I don't know.
I don't know.
All
I don't
very
think it's
nerdy
Doctor's mum.
stuff.
I think it'd be very weird if the Doctor's mum, who was looking out for her son in End of Time, assuming that woman was the Doctor's mum, which Russell basically said she was, then, I don't know why she'd suddenly be like, the Doctor's story ends in terror. Night, night. I had great plans for this plan. I don't think that. Tecteun is not impossible, but I know Russell's tying to the Timeless Child and referencing it and stuff, but I don't know if bringing Tecteun back would be something that would be high on his agenda.
Yep, well said. Well said.
Welcome to
Thank you
Theory
for coming
Busters,
back.
where we listen to your theories and then tell you why they're terrible. No, I'm sorry. Thank you very much, Torchwood
Bust.
5. I think our first caller from Poland. Am I correct in saying that?
I'm not sure. We still need to make a map of everyone.
We need to. Yeah, we're going to start this. We're going to make this a
yeah.
weekly feature, and then every time someone says the country they're from, we'll tick it off.
Well,
We won't
yeah,
do it yet,
that's
but we'll do it.
beautiful.
We'll do it eventually. We'll do it eventually.
Yeah, I like that.
It'll be
let's
cool.
have a listen to Zach. Shall
All right,
we?
Zach, what have you got about Mrs. Flood?
Hello there. My theory for Mrs. Flood is that she's another godlike being from the Hooniverse that we've never met before, because she also wore the Rani's coat, Clara's cardigan, and she called the Doctor a clever boy. But also she was killed by Sutek's dust thing, so maybe she's not immortal. But I swear, if RTD makes her of no significance, then I will actually do nothing. Goodbye.
Thank you, Zach.
Typical
You've got
Doctor Who
good-
fan be like, all bark, no bite. No.
Very, very good energy from Zach.
Yeah, I love
Thank
that.
you for your
That was
call.
great.
Thank you for your call.
That was great.
Yeah, great. Okay, the God theory. Stronger theory than the mother theory, I'm going to say, because Russell, he's playing with gods right now. And I'm not just
Yeah.
talking about Disney, am I right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we've had a few gods rock up in season 1
We have.
and the 60th specials, and I think
Still
that
haven't
will
had the
be
Trickster.
Yeah, but we will, baby boy. Don't even worry about it.
Oh, you know that, do you?
Well, but, look, I know things. I know things you don't even know.
Okay, like what?
Like, did you know that there is a thing called the triple goddesses? Because the triple goddesses is an ancient archetype. Many religions have triple deity of some sort, but the triple goddesses are generally rulers or foretellers of fate in some manner. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. Yawn.
I just looked up types of gods, and the first thing that rocked up is triple goddesses. How many gods have we had in Doctor Who so far in Russell's era?
Are we going to do the quote
In
from
Russell's
Legend of
era.
Ruby Sunday?
Who?
You know, where what's her name? Harriet is like says all the gods. There is Trickster, the god of traps. There is Maestro,
yeah.
the god of music. There is blah blah blah. I think she
I
went
mean-
through 5.
Oh, okay. Well, purely, how many have we seen thus far?
In fact, there already was a triple god, not goddess. There was a triple god in the Seventh Doctor story, the gods of Ragnarok.
Oh my gosh!
And Harriet refers to them as the
Taika Waititi
threefold
did such
deity
a
of
good
malice
job on that.
and mischief and something or other.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that was just something I wrote. I was going to try and guess what type of god Mrs.
god
Flood
of
was going to
water.
be. Really great observation from Zach saying, obviously, she's not immortal. Wouldn't it be crazy if in the... you're smiling at something. I must have missed some kind of joke.
No, go on, give you your theory first. I'll wait.
I imagine how crazy it would be, and it was such like a Doctor Who fan thing to point out, is when like everyone is getting Infinity Ward in the finale, Mrs. Flood's remains. Like, don't you think that would be so telling? And like, they have like so many theories going, but no, Mrs. Flood did in fact perish with everyone else. So, not immortal.
Well, Sutek was like the god of all gods, supposedly. So even if even if Mrs. Flood was a god, then technically, if he was the god superior to her, that means the god could kill the god. I don't know. I have no
Sounds
idea.
like a bit of a god complex, my friend. What were you?
That
What was
really
your
does,
joke?
doesn't it? That's funny. That's funny. No, I was just gonna say maybe she's the god of water.
Oh,
Yeah. Thanks, sir. Thanks. It's a funny little pun, and I was quite proud of it. So I just grinned at the camera and was like, I know someone out there chuckled, even
Well,
briefly, a brief chuckle.
Let's hope we briefly chuckle at Mr. Scarlo's call. Hello, how are ya?
Mrs. Flood is a Time Lord because in The Legend of Ruby Sunday, when Doctor's talking about Susan Triad, it's like, oh, we can change ourselves to hide away at that. And then when we see Mrs. Flood, she says, oh, I'm always hiding myself away. So I think she's a Time Lord of some sort who, I don't know, maybe a new Time Lord, maybe one we've seen before. I'm not entirely sure. But that's my thinking.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent
that is another
stuff.
point to be made. Yeah, that is very true. Like, there's like maybe 2 scenes between those lines of dialogue. Shooty says to 15 says to Kate, you know, we're always hiding ourselves away. Or oh no, he says to Ruby, and then yeah, when Mrs. Flood is coming in to look after Cherry, she's like, I'm always hiding myself away.
Yeah, why?
So yeah, same
Why-
wording as well.
Very good. I'm more convinced on the Time Lord theory too.
I think Time Lord is entirely possible. I mean, Could be the Rani. I mean, that is a theory that comes up every now and again. Evil Time
I'm
Lord.
sure
That's not
we'll
the
hear
Master.
it today.
I do think it's interesting that, the 10th Doctor was originally like, when I see the Master, I'll know it's him. Like, Time Lords always have a way of sensing, like, that there's another one around, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like because his sense has failed him since, maybe that's why now 15's like, we can change our face and not know. Like, they could be hiding away. Because, like, 12 just did not see that Missy was a Time Lord for a hot minute until she basically started dropping clues in front of him. Like, by the way, did you not feel that I had two hearts? Like, do you not? Is the brain not working? And he's like, oh, who are you? Like it took him like a nudge to get going. Whereas David Tennant was like, I'll know when I see him. I'll know. I'll just be able to sense it through the television. I'll use the force.
I'll know. Yeah. Okay. Very, very interesting. Oh,
could easily be a Time Lord.
Speaking of Peter Capaldi, did you see that he's been cast in the newest season of Black Mirror?
I did see that. I might actually watch Black Mirror now.
Oh, yeah, you should. There's some very distressing episodes.
Like it. One of those things I've never watched for some reason.
There's some good stuff. There's some good stuff in there. It's basically Dot and Bubble, but better.
How dare you?
It tackles a lot of issues, I suppose.
Does it have
It's up there for me. It should. Shooty would crush
I was going to say,
it.
how dare you say it's better than Dot and Bubble if Shooty Gatwa is not part of it?
I'm sure a lot of people from Doctor Who have been on Black Mirror.
Jodie Whittaker's had an episode, I know that much. We've talked about that.
Yeah, great episode as well.
I don't know who else has been in it from Doctor Who, though.
I'm sure I can find out. Anyway, let's listen to another caller, shall we?
Okay.
Would you be interested in that? Would you be interested in that?
I mean, not really. Can we end this episode early?
Thanks, guys, for listening. Kidding. We're kidding.
20 minutes is not quite long enough, I fear.
No, it's not. Hello, Jack Amigo.
Hey, Crispy and Troy. Jack Amigo is back with another sort of weird opinion. I'm thinking maybe Mrs. Flood, in my ideal scenario, could be a Slovene. I mean, what an awesome return that would be for the monster that we haven't seen since RTD1. I mean, come on. It was iconic, and I just feel like it would be the biggest comeback ever.
Wow. Troy, your thoughts?
I mean, listen, you dangle my fat green boys in front of me, I'm going to be excited, but I don't think she's a Slovene. I think that's
I would love it. I would love it
would
so
be great.
much just to see the reaction of everyone, and I would be like, I'd probably be more on board with it than I am letting on now. I think I'd be like, yeah, sure, why not?
I want the Slovene to come back, make no mistake. I just don't think Miss Flood is one.
That could be genuinely threatening. Reduce the fart jokes back. I don't know if that'll happen after Space Babies, but we'll see. But like, I want to see like the updated skin peeling. That could be insane. That could be properly insane.
That's
Don't you think that's a nasty visual?
I was gonna say, you're just trying to be a big body horror fan.
Yeah, for sure. For my boy.
You watch The Substance?
What's The Substance? What was
new
that?
horror film, body horror. Age rated.
What?
Don't go if you're below the age of 18.
The Substance.
If you like body horror films, go watch that. Don't think it has the best ending, but it's very good for your horror. So if you want to satiate your tastes, because it sounds like you have some very dark tastes, sir.
Yeah, I've never. You watched The Substance?
I did. It was my mum's suggestion. She was like, I've seen the trailer of this film. I want to watch it. Do you want to come? And I was like, yeah, all right.
Oh, my goodness gracious me! All right, look at you go. Okay, cool. Cool.
There you go. Just sliding a cinema recommendation in the middle. That's what we do. That's what we do.
Jack Amigo, you got my vote. Congratulations.
We need one for the family as well. Actually, hang on. If we've given an age-rated film recommendation, we need a younger one. Go watch Transformers 1. Apparently, that's really good.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that too.
It's funny because I've seen the trailer for it like 100 times, and I've been like, "This seems like it's all right. I'm not bothered personally." And then the reviews are like, "No, this is actually really good," and it kind of makes me intrigued to watch it now. But I've never been the biggest Transformers fan, so who knows?
Is my impression
of what? A train?
Of transforming.
Transforming into the next caller. Let's have Matthias. What's he got to say?
Hello.
Before I start going into Mrs. Flood, let me just say this to you, Troy. Space Babies is the worst episode ever. Okay. After we deal with that, I think Mrs. Flood is probably just some random human, and that's pretty much it. Although she could be also either the Rani or some random Time Lord, or maybe she's the Master. Who knows?
Wow,
It is insane
beautiful
to me
energy.
that episodes like Fear Her and Orphan 55 exist, and yet you will say with chest, with gall, with every bit of strength in your body that Space Babies is the worst episode of Doctor Who.
And I am so grateful for you.
I don't
that.
understand you people. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Wow, a lot in that call just
I
then.
feel like you two are both acting like a real pair of Space Babies right now.
Wow. Grinds my gears. Oh,
Yeah.
grr.
I bet it does.
What possibility of Mrs. Flood being just a normal human is... What do you reckon?
I'm scared to even give
Percentage-wise.
that a number because I do think it's a non-zero chance.
I think there is a chance, knowing Russell.
She could just be some kind of representative of a wider villain. She
Well,
could be like a goon of the Trickster.
I feel like we had the massive hype being like, who is Ruby's mum? And then they ended up just being a normal human, and that's a really nice sentiment, regardless of how well it was executed, sure. But if Mrs. Flood is just an average Joe, I feel like that's wild to me. That is
This
wild.
isn't Spider-Man. We don't always need to have an anyone can wear the mask idea in Doctor Who. We don't always need that.
What do we know about Mrs. Flood? Like, what is tangible? Have they done anything superhuman? Apart from looking at the camera.
No, just looking at the camera.
haven't-
Obviously, she
they've
knows
just
what a TARDIS is.
Knows
She's
what a
always hiding
TARDIS
herself
is.
away. Her mum died of a bunion when she wasn't looking. However
Wow.
that works. She has lots of great plans. She knew of Sutek's arrival. Bear that in mind. She said he waits
Yeah.
no more, so she knew Sutek was coming. So she has like otherworldly knowledge of some form.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. That is interesting. I can't crack this case yet, Troy.
I
just
think,
can't
she's
crack it.
either a representative of some more powerful being or she's a Time Lord. They're the two most likely theories. If she is a representative of some more powerful creature, then that would mean she could be human.
Yeah. Okay.
So maybe
Okay.
she should watch The War Between the Land and the Sea, because star of that show, Russell Tovey, knows everything about being human.
Is that a show that he's in?
It's a show he was in, yeah. It was a
God,
really
you
good
are
show as well.
all over it today with these references.
Thanks, sir. I'm cooking it up.
Well, let's hope that George cooks it up too. Hello, George.
Of course, this will be very popular, but I think Mrs. Flood is Susan Foreman, as she was dropped off in London, and this is the age that she would... Well, this is around the age that she would be. But the problem with this is that she was dropped in the 22nd century. So, I don't know how she could have got her back.
Never seen a TARDIS before.
He had me on tenterhooks there. I was like, oh, this could be a good thing. And then he went, but she was dropped off in the 22nd century. And I immediately went, oh.
I'm currently looking at a poll on the Doctor Who Reddit page, and they did a poll be like, who or what is Mrs. Flood, the final poll, and it had over 100 votes, and the winner was Susan Foreman. So it's a popular theory. It's a popular theory amongst the Doctor Who community. You
don't spend the time setting up Susan the way you have in season 1 if she's not going to show up later.
But maybe
I'm stunned she didn't show up in
happen.
season 1, but I think she's bound to show up in season 2. So you could tie into that. The only arguments I would have against that theory are, first off, as George has just pointed out, she was dropped off in the 22nd century. Unless she gets hold of her own time machine or vortex manipulator, how is she older, but also back in time? But also, I think, not just for the sake of the classic purists to be insulted, but would Susan really turn into a bad guy? Someone who's saying the Doctor's life is going to end in terror? Or maybe she's bitter because he dropped her off, but is that enough to make her, harbour a grudge for 50, 60 years?
I don't know
Then
if
again,
Russell
actually, she's a
would want
Time
to do
Lord,
that.
so, visually aging 50, 60 years might be hundreds of years for a Time Lord.
True. Yeah,
So,
I don't know if Russell will want to go down that route
I
of
don't think so.
The Doctor's granddaughter a villain. I don't know.
Despite what the users on Twitter.com believe, Russell is not some Satanist trying to destroy Doctor Who.
No,
I feel like anyone who's in the showrunner role just gets point painted like that at this point. But
yeah, no, it's a horrible thing.
Yeah, and I don't think he's gonna. Personally, I mean, he could write something interesting about her holding a grudge, maybe, and maybe playing a wider part in some big villain's plan. But her being an overarching villain that's going to destroy the world, I don't see it at all. Unless that's the point. Maybe she had plans, and the plans were something that wasn't completely world ending. But if that was the case, why would she be, talking to Cherry, being like, we all want a lot of things that aren't going to happen. Just get the old lady a cup of tea. Don't be heartless.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's the biggest crime. It's the biggest crime. It's like how I met David Morrissey at a Comic-Con a couple of months ago, who played the Governor in The Walking Dead. And my mum and I had done a full Walking Dead rewatch. And when I met him, I was like, look, I know you did some big things. Spoilers if you haven't watched The Walking Dead. You killed Herschel. You did all these big evil things, killing people. But the worst thing you did was tipping a plate of spaghetti hoops out the window. And he just started laughing. Because he did that at one point, and it was a terrible crime. So sometimes you can be a bad person, but the smaller things can be the bigger crimes. So maybe what Mrs. Flood did there in not giving Cherry her cup of tea is going to be the biggest crime she commits in this show.
Yeah,
thank you for listening.
Wow, what a beautiful... Wow, you took us on a journey there. I didn't know where that was going, but you landed it. You stuck the landing. Well done,
Thank
Troy.
you, sir. Thank you. I aim to please.
Wow. Well, let's hope that Chris Hale is giving us a pleasing message today.
Well,
hopefully, here we go.
to you, Chris. Sorry,
Very well
I'm
done.
going to stop now.
Hi, long-time listener, first-time caller. I believe that Mrs. Flood hasn't been decided yet. Or at least at the time of season 1 and 2 being written, hadn't been. I think possibly to the detriment of the show, as much as I love his writing, Russell's been really giving into the J.J. Abrams mystery box style of writing, where you just keep adding mystery on top of mystery without really having the answers in mind. And so I think that he waited for fan reactions before deciding her real identity, just to be really subversive.
Oh.
There's one thing I hate more than anything. It's when callers make a reference that I have a great joke for, and then they ruin my joke by going in the direction for where my joke was going. Because he was
What were you gonna do?
I think he's not decided it yet. And I was going to be like, the Disney Star Wars sequel trilogy move. I like it. And then he went, J.J. Abrams mystery box. And I went, damn it, that's what I was going to say. I disagree only because we know they filmed both seasons ahead of time and filmed it quite close together.
Unless it's not resolved this season.
That is possible. If it still isn't resolved and it is in a potential third season, then maybe he will base it on fan theories. But I'm holding out hope that she's revealed and dealt with in season 2. And if that's the case, I feel like he'll have already locked in on who she was before the fan theories.
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah. I know.
We'll
the
have to
Rise
see.
of Mrs. Flood. Do we want that? I don't know.
The Rise of Mrs. Flood?
Yeah.
Is that an episode name?
No, it's like The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh. The best Star Wars film, some say. Someone in this
Who says
chat
that? Do they? I don't say that.
Didn't you say that was the best Star Wars film?
Second favourite. I didn't say best. Best and favourite are two different things. Objectively, it is nowhere near the best Star Wars film.
Oh,
I get a
okay.
lot of enjoyment out of it, but the best one is Revenge of the Sith. Don't even try and paint it in another way.
Okay. Oh, gosh. Oh, wow. Okay. Well,
What would you have said, sir? Go on. What's your favourite Star Wars film? Come on.
Oh, Empire. Every time.
What's it like being
Every
wrong?
time.
I'd love to know.
Oh, I think universally, I am right.
I don't think so. I think there are a lot of people who agree with me with Revenge of the Sith. Poll time!
Right.
Star Wars film!
Star Wars, yeah. Screw it.
Which Star Wars film is better, Episode 3 or Episode 5? Vote below.
If you do that, I can guarantee you I'll win.
Nah, you won't.
All right, I'll put it on Twitter tonight.
Do it.
Fine.
Do it right. In fact, do it right now. And then on
let's
our
listen to
next
Chris
episode, which
Chibnall.
we're recording right after this, you'll probably have had some votes and we can see which one wins.
Sure. Let's do it.
Right,
let's
pick
listen
a
to Chris
caller
Chibnall.
and I'll listen and reply while you type up the tweet.
Okay, cool.
Multitasking, baby, multitasking. Who have we got?
Former showrunner Chris Chibnall.
All right,
has
Chris
some words
Chibnall,
for
what have
us.
you got, sir?
I think everyone thinks that Mrs. Flood is going to be some sort of Time Lord like the Rani. And whilst I think that's a possibility, I think that's the obvious choice. My theory is that she is the god of stories, and that is why we keep seeing her break the fourth wall. That's why we keep seeing her narrating things. She's kind of influencing the overarching thing, and it's going to turn out that she's been the big villain behind everything. And I think she's going to be the villain behind the entirety of Shooty Zero so far, manipulating everything behind the scenes. So that's my theory. She's the god of stories, and she's the big bad god for Shooty Zero.
So she's Loki. Wow. Okay. All right. Intriguing. I like these Disney Doctor Who crossover ideas that are never going to happen, but I still love the theory. No, I mean, to be fair, you could have a different God of Stories. It doesn't have to be Loki. I'm just pulling your leg there, as the saying goes. I'm pulling your leg, dear. Could be. God of Stories is not a bad idea. That actually fits in with the fourth wall breaking, things like that, and
Love it.
like hiding away. If the best comparison would be like the Watcher in Marvel. a being that kind of is outside of any universe and kind of watches in and never influences things. But if that was the case, then why would she have plans? So I don't know.
Oh, wait. Loki is the god of stories.
Oh yeah, but I was making a different comparison to someone who's like a story keeper.
Oh right, yeah, weird.
But yeah,
okay,
it could be
cool.
like Loki. I mean, I don't imagine we're going to see Mrs. Flood holding a bunch of green timelines, but
you never know.
Poll is amazing. Just which Star Wars is better, Episode 5 or Episode 3?
Yeah. Oh no, have
I've
you voted?
passed my vote. I'm swinging the vote in my favour.
Oh gosh, it's not looking good.
I told you.
okay.
What did I tell you? Oh.
no.
Okay. Right. Maybe we'll look at the end of this episode. Maybe. Do you know what? We'll leave it till next week. And if you check his Twitter in the
next
week
week.
in between, that's your problem, not mine. In fact, do you know what we'll do, Crispy? We'll make it the intro gag for next week's episode.
Brill. Fantastic.
Look at that. See that? I got a pan in my hand. I'm cooking up. I'm cooking.
Man is cooking right now.
We're getting so many theories.
Cooking.
I'm enjoying not having to put any effort in and letting you guys put all the effort in. This is great. We should do it more
Yeah,
often.
thank you for like such an array of different theories. But I haven't listened to any of these. It's all very good.
Where's the one? Is it next week's where someone called in saying they were drunk?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. So we could maybe deal with that next week. We'll see. Who else have we got? Any more?
Well, let's listen to William, our first caller for this segment. So
our first caller, the William Hartnell caller, you might say.
Oh gosh, we're on it today. Here we go. Hello, William.
Not too bothered who Mrs. Flood is really. I mean, they had that whole arc during the opening season 1. It might be something. I mean, there's that massive leak saying that she does something.
Whoa.
I've paused the message.
Whoa.
Wow. Well, I don't want to hear any massive leaks. I don't want to hear. All we got from that is that she does something. I'm fine with that information.
I was going to say, yeah, there's a leak that she does something. He might not even say what it is, but
he might not. I'm leaving
scared.
it there. We're null and void. Will, you're null and void right now. We are avoiding leaks. Have you read anything? Because I did see that there was supposedly a massive thing. I haven't touched it. I haven't read anything.
Oh, I heard something about some companion, and I was like, I really hope that I haven't just seen... Because someone kind of subtweeted about it separately and went, if that happens, I'm going to be upset. And I was like, that better not be a leak. You better not be tweeting about a leak and I'm seeing it. Because I have the words leak and DWSR, all that stuff.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I don't want to know. And callers,
how far
I don't want to know
Crispy?
either.
How far you and I have come?
I used to get hundreds of thousands of views from leaked content, but now it's all TikTok.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in any leaks.
How far we've come and how low our brain power has fallen.
But William does raise a good point. Do people care about Mrs. Flood? Is Mrs. Flood an interesting thing?
Poll time. Who cares about Mrs. Flood? Well, the problem is we can't really do a poll time because, the episode we get the results will be 3 weeks after this, and we put the poll out early, and people would be like, "What? This poll would sit." We could do it, I suppose. This is the thing we're getting ahead. You shouldn't go to New Zealand, sir. All you do is screw things up.
Yeah. When this comes out, I'll be in New Zealand, so come and say hi if you're in New Zealand. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I really care that much about Mrs. Flood. If it's a good payoff, then heck yeah. But right now, I don't know, with the way season 1 was handled with its mysteries, I feel like I've lost a little bit of that hype, but I'm still interested. How do you feel?
I'm still interested. I am still interested. I want to see where the story goes. I want to see where it goes, sir. I'm intrigued.
Okay.
So, shall we figure out where the story goes with one more caller?
I would love that. I would love that
All
so
right.
much.
You
So
gotta pick one more, sir.
Let's have Jeremy Duncan. Oh, nah. We listen to Jeremy Duncan all the time. Let's have Jamie. Do you want Jamie?
Oh, yeah,
cool.
I'm laying back and enjoying myself here, sir.
I think more than likely she'd be the storytelling god.
Oh.
But I've also thought that maybe she'd be somehow the connection to the other TARDIS when it was split into two. And it be some reason beyond that. What it is, I don't know. But I thought that could be a good idea. And an idea that I haven't heard so far. What do you reckon?
Oh,
she's the 14th Doctor?
Wow. Interesting. That could be an interesting narrative, like some kind of consequence for having two TARDISes, or that was...
I finally got my 14th Doctor spin-off.
Yeah, this is it. The whole time you didn't know. You didn't know it was happening in front of your very eyes. I like that. I like the way you think, Jamie. I do. I don't know if it's going to happen, but weirder things have happened.
Yeah. Stranger
I remember
Things.
being like, David Tennant's never coming back to this show.
Yeah, I remember you said it during the time the rumor was going around. I don't think
Yeah, I
it's
was like,
real. I don't think
this
it's
is
real.
So silly. Well, it's because we heard it so much and then it finally happened.
Yeah.
But Storytelling God seems to be pretty popular.
You know, I think
we'll have to wait
Flood
and see.
is. I think Mrs. Flood, and this is my theory to close the episode off. I think Mrs. Flood is a character in Doctor Who.
Wow.
And I'm
Very
just saying
eloquently
that
put.
can't be wrong. Therefore, I've given us the best theory because it's the one with the most evidence.
Sure. Or, counter theory, Mrs. Flood is a Slovene and nothing will convince me otherwise.
Don't give me hope.
And that's it. That's the only thing we have. Hope.
Crispy, your closing comments?
Slovene, Queen, Flood. That's it. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much for watching this episode of Who's There, a Doctor Who podcast, where we heard a lot of theories and made no progress with them, because we don't know. But it's been interesting to get all of your thoughts. That's the whole point of this episode. We weren't here to come up with an overall decision. Do you have a favourite theory, Crispy, genuinely out of all of them, or are you happy to just see where the road takes you?
Time Lord one's very strong.
Yeah.
Just I would like it if it was a new Time Lord character, because you can, play with the lore previously, but it's like, oh, this is a new character. We're not just bringing back the Rani or the Master or whatever.
What if it's a Time Lord storyteller? What if we combine the two? The Time Lord of stories.
Time Lord Slovene storyteller?
They could be called... Stop. The name could be like, the librarian, the archivist. I don't know. I'm just making it up at this point.
Ooh, the archivist is a cool
I like
title.
the archivist. The librarian, not so much, but the archivist, I like that.
Well, that's not too bad either. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, either way, thank you all for listening. We'll see you all next week, where we talk about the best Doctor Who monster. How are we 130 episodes in and they've never done an episode of the best monster?
Definitively.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what the best one is.
I'm excited
and
to talk
what
about
the best
Celine
Star
next
Wars
week.
is.
Oh, yeah. What is a Star Wars?
I don't even know what a Star Wars is, mate. We're going to find out next week.
Well, join us next week when we find out what that is. Until then, it's goodbye from Crispy. I'm getting stuck on my words. Goodbye, Crispy. Say goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
And it's goodbye from me. See you next week. Bye-bye. Alonzi.
Alonzi, baby.
Alonzi.
Alonzi, baby.
Alonzi.
Alonzi, baby.
How many times are we going to say Alonzi before I actually cut this?
Alon Slovene, baby.
Just end it.